Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to GamerJoob, and welcome back to our Garten of Banban character concept series. So in today's video, the character we're looking into is Sheriff Toadster. So we're looking at Sheriff Toadster's location, backstory, gameplay mechanics, and all that good stuff as well. As always, I will just state that this is not definitive what will actually happen in Garten of Banban 3. This is just a fun, what-if scenario and a cool story we get to tell, and we hope you enjoy. And last, before we start today's video, do be sure to subscribe to GamerJoob as it helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. It also keeps you up to date with all the videos that we post. Also, do be sure to leave a like in this video because in the near future we're going to be doing a community live stream where we're going to make our own Poppy Playtime or FNAF character, but we'll only do this live stream if we get enough likes on our videos, so be sure to like. Alrighty everyone, well let's get into the character concept of Sheriff Toadster. So previously in our Garten of Banban character concept series, we took a look at the character of Stinger Flynn. The protagonist made their way through many different puzzles and in the end took on the real Stinger Flynn. After they made their escape, they now find themselves in a new area of the kindergarten. But little does the player know, someone else is waiting there for them. So in Garten of Banban 2, we see a new character that has been introduced. And this new character is Sheriff Toadster. We can see the sheriff on multiple murals throughout the kindergarten. They appear to be a brown coloured toad with a sheriff's star and a sheriff's hat, and also a big cheesy grin. Not much is known about this Toad character, but soon enough the player will get to know the sheriff quite well, especially because they've just walked into Toadster's town. So after walking through multiple corridors, the player now comes to a new area, and this area is called Toadster's town. And of course the man in charge was Sheriff Toadster himself. This was a play area that was famed around the Wild West. As the players explore around, they come to their first puzzle. On the wall it says, Sheriff Toadster has lost his horses. Round up all 8 and you'll get a surprise. So the player needs to go around and find multiple horses that are painted on the walls. Above each horse is a button that needs to be pressed with the drone. Once the player has found all the horses and pressed all the buttons, then they'll get a keycard for the next area. They open the door and move forward. They now come to the saloon door maze. This was a maze that was made up of multiple saloon doors. The player has to run through the maze while passing through all the saloon doors. But they need to be careful as some of the doors are in a fixed position and won't open. The way the player can tell which doors are open and which are locked is by looking carefully behind the gap between the doors. If there's a metal bar behind the gap of the doors, then it's locked. But if there's nothing behind the gap, then it's good to go through. The maze seems easy enough. All they need to do is make their way through and avoid the locked doors. But before they know it, things would get a little more difficult. As they enter the maze, all of a sudden Sheriff Toadster drops from the ceiling. This version of Sheriff Toadster doesn't look like their friendly counterpart at all. Instead of his beady little eyes, they are now dark and hollow, and his big cheesy grin was now filled with razor sharp teeth. His hands were much more slender and creepy as well. The player now needs to rush through the maze before Sheriff Toadster gets them. The player is an unwanted trespasser in his town and the sheriff wasn't going to let this slide. So the player needs to run through the saloon doors and be careful of the locked ones. If they run into a locked door, then they would get grabbed by Sheriff Toadster. So as the player rushes through this area, they need to keep up the pace. If they slow down for any other reason, then Toadster will catch them. Finally, after frantically running around the maze, they reach the end. They open the door and escape just in time. They now find themselves in the Sharpshooter gallery. This was a new activity puzzle where the player has to time their shots just right. On the wall in front of them was a large spinning wheel with multiple targets. The player needs to load fireworks into the large revolver and hit the button as it comes around. Round after round, there would be more buttons added to the large spinning wheel, and there would be a timer, so the player needs to hurry up. Once they've successfully hit all the buttons, then they would move to the next room. In this room they find another note. The note says, "The big mean toad is always watching. Be careful and keep a lookout. He's locked everyone in the jail. If you're not careful, he'll lock you in the jail as well. Be careful and be safe." As they put the note down and take another step, they fall through a trapdoor. They fall directly into a jail just like the note said. As they stare through the jail cell bars, they see Sheriff Toadster. He's finally captured you and put you where you belong. He shows off the key to the cell and then tucks it away. The player needs to find a way out of this jail cell or else they'll be here forever. As they search around the jail cell, they can notice that some of the bars are loose. They need to use the drone to knock a couple of them free. Once they've made a gap that was big enough, they could slide through and try to find their way out of this underground area. As they roam around this creepy dark area, they need to be careful not to run into Sheriff Toadster. He'll be lurking around this area, and if he finds you, he'll throw you back in jail. So in this gameplay segment, the player needs to find the exit, all while avoiding Toadstar in the process. As the player is getting closer to the exit, out of nowhere Sheriff Toadster finds them. Now the chase is on to get out of here before they get recaptured. The player runs for their life and tries to find the exit, all while Sheriff Toadster is hot on their tail. If the player isn't careful and makes the wrong turn, they can get lost in the winding corridors. But if they make the right decision and choose the right direction, then they'll be free. Finally, after navigating through all the underground corridors, they finally make it to the exit. They rush right through and get away just in time. Finally, the player has made it out of here safely. They quickly get to the next area and leave that awful Sheriff Toadster behind. The player travels to the next area unaware of who they'll meet next. And as to who that'll be, we'll just have to wait and see. So I think that Sheriff Toadster would be quite awesome to see in Chapter 3. I think the puzzles throughout the levels will be quite interesting to see, and also I think Sheriff Toadster will be quite a creepy character as well. But who knows if we'll even see Sheriff Toadster in the next chapter. It might be some time before we see him make an appearance. But when he does make his appearance, it'll definitely be a creepy one, that's for sure. But as to if they'll include him in Chapter 3 or we'll even see this character, we'll just have to wait and see. And also, like Nab Nab and Slow Saloon, they might even add some new characters, so who knows what we'll see in the future as we look into Chapter 3. All I know is what they'll have in store for us will be interesting to see, and I can't wait till we get to Chapter 3. But until then, we'll just have to wait and see what comes next in Garten of Banban. Alrighty everyone, well that's all we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting and subscribing, as it helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of Sheriff Toadster and what you'd like to see going forward. Also do be sure to leave a like on this video, as we will be doing that community live stream, but only if we get enough likes on our videos, so do be sure to like. Alrighty everyone, well, to the next video, I'll catch you later, bye.